The text arrived during Thanksgiving dinner. Forget about our help in old age. We have our own lives. My daughter, Jessica, 32 years old, sitting 4 chairs down from me at a table I paid for, in a house I built, eating food I provided. She didn't look up when she sent it. I watched her thumb move, watched the slight curl of her lip as she pressed send. Her husband, that leech with the startup that hemorrhaged my money for 3 years before collapsing, whispered something in her ear. They both smiled. Around us, her brother, his wife, their children, my sister, cousins I barely recognized anymore. Everyone talking, laughing, performing gratitude like a rehearsed play. My phone sat face up beside my plate. The message glowed. I read it twice. Then I set down my fork, excused myself, and walked to my study. No one noticed. The lawyer's name was Miranda Voss. I called her from my study while cranberry sauce congealed on abandoned plates downstairs. She answered on the second ring. I need to change my will, I said. Immediately. It's Thanksgiving, Mr. Chen. I'm aware. Silence. Then, what are we changing? Everything. My daughter is removed entirely. 5 million redirected to charity. The house, the accounts, the portfolio, none of it goes to her. May I ask? No. She didn't push. Good lawyers know when a client's voice has gone cold enough to shatter. I'll have documents ready by Monday, she said. Tomorrow. Mr. Chen. Tomorrow. I'll triple your holiday rate. Another pause. I'll email you by noon. I hung up. Through the steady window, I could see the driveway. Jessica's Mercedes, the one I bought her last Christmas because she said her old car made her look poor at her country club. My hand didn't shake. That surprised me. I'd expected rage, expected something hot and destructive to rise up and burn through my chest. Instead, nothing. Just a cold, clear certainty settling into my bones like winter frost. She'd been planning this. I realize that now. The gradual distance over the past 2 years, the canceled visits, the phone calls that came only when she needed something. I wasn't her father anymore. I was her retirement plan. And she just told me, on Thanksgiving, surrounded by family, that the plan had changed. I returned to the table, smiled, asked Jessica's daughter about school, complimented the turkey my sister brought, laughed at my nephew's joke about football. No one suspected. Jessica glanced at me once. Her eyes moved to my phone, then away, wondering if I'd seen it yet. I poured her more wine. To family, I said, raising my glass. She drank. That night, alone in my study, I began pulling files, not out of anger, out of thoroughness. The startup investment, $340,000 in 3 years, every cent documented, every promise broken, her husband's signature on documents guaranteeing return on investment within 18 months. That was 5 years ago. Her wedding, $85,000. The house down payment I gave them, $200,000. The car, the European vacation when she was stressed. The credit card I co-signed that she maxed out twice. I'd never asked for repayment. Never mentioned it. was her father. That's what fathers did. Except I wasn't investing in my daughter anymore. I was funding her contempt. Miranda's email arrived at 4:47 a.m. the next day, Black Friday, while Jessica was probably standing in line somewhere, spending money she didn't earn on things she didn't need. The new will was surgical. Jessica, removed. Her children, I trust they'd access at 25, managed by an independent firm, nothing she could touch. Everything else, divided between charities I'd researched for hours, organizations that helped people who actually needed help, who didn't send cruel texts during Thanksgiving dinner. I signed it in front of a notary that afternoon. It felt like setting down something heavy I'd been carrying for decades.
She showed up that evening, unannounced, face flushed, eyes bright with something between panic and fury. "We need to talk," she said, pushing past me into the foyer. I closed the door. Slowly. "About what?" "Don't play dumb, Dad. I know you called a lawyer." My expression didn't change. "How would you know that?" She stopped, recalculated. "Mom's friend saw you at the notary." My ex-wife had been dead for 6 years. "Interesting," I said. Her face tightened. "What did you do?" "I updated my estate planning. It was overdue." "You can't just," her voice cracked. "You can't cut me out. I'm your daughter." "Are you?" The question landed like a blade. She stared at me. "What the fuck is that supposed to mean?" I walked to the study. She followed, heels clicking on hardwood like gunshots. I pulled out my phone, opened her message, held it up. "Forget about our help in old age. We have our own lives," I read aloud. "That was you. Yesterday. During Thanksgiving." Her mouth opened, closed. "So I did." I continued, voice steady. "I forgot about your help, and I made other arrangements." "You're being insane." "The will's been filed. You inherit nothing. Not the house. Not the portfolio. Nothing." "You can't." "I already did." She started crying. The kind of tears that come from fear, not sadness. "Dad, please, I didn't mean it. I was angry about something else. You meant every word." "No. Jessica." I said her name like a diagnosis. "You've been waiting for me to die for years. You just got impatient." And said it out loud. Her face went white. "That's not..." "You want to know the saddest part?" I stepped closer. "I would have given you everything. Gladly. But you couldn't wait. Couldn't even pretend to love me for a few more years." "I do love you." "No. You love my money. There's a difference." She reached for my arm. I stepped back. "Please. My kids have a trust fund. They'll be fine. You?" I smiled. It felt like stretching scar tissue. "You have your own life. Remember?" She left screaming threats about lawyers and family, and how dare I. I locked the door behind her. The house felt quiet. Not empty. Just clean. I poured scotch I'd been saving for a special occasion. Sat in my study. Looked at the family photos on the wall. Jessica as a child. Gap-toothed and laughing. That girl was gone. Maybe she'd never existed. I raised my glass to the silence. "To family," I said, and drank alone.